gotta go. Somebody got to die. Let the gunshot flow. Somebody got to die. If I go, you gotta go. Nobody knows that I killed your ass in the rear. Somebody got to die. If I go, you gotta go. Terrence Sledge, what up with you, boy? Hey out there, YouTube. Everybody who's coming to see me today. Um, I'm in somebody else's home and they had company and I didn't know. So I'm getting a later start than I planned on. Johnny Clark, what up with you? Sheila Price. I know some of y'all mad. Gene, I gotta be at work in the morning. Black Channel, I understand. Philly Queen, what up with you, mama? Dana Jacobs. Oh, Miss Dickerson. I guess you put your kids to bed already. You understand? Hey, Miss Dickerson, what's going on, ma? Yes. Tracy Jordan, good evening, good evening, good evening to all of y'all. Low Key Chris, what up? All right, Low Key Chris, you know you ain't really low key, bro. Stop that, man. All right. Dana Jacobs, hi, Dana. Hey, everybody, what up, Q? What's happening? Listen here out there, Bobby Bell's out there in Beaumont, Texas. We got this going on. Whiskey to Dawn, let's go. And we was all, I'm gonna blame it. We was waiting on Pretty Gangster because she had to be in her meeting this evening. You understand? So, that's one of the reasons I'm on so late. All right, y'all. But check this out. K. Biggins, 1978. What up with you, boy? Dog Pound 713. I'm glad all y'all came in here. Enough is enough. Mikael West, Glenn, check this out. Now, uh, we coming on embarking on another death, another anniversary of the Notorious Big's death. Um, and in the interest of people who want to know what went down and what would happen, there's been a lot of stories, a lot of lies, a lot of things that have been going on. But the insight that I'm going to give y'all today, I want y'all to go back and y'all piece it together and put it up and see if this shit really makes sense. I've told the story thousands of times. But maybe, just maybe, in this interim, in the interest of knowing the truth and getting it out there, y'all could help me. You understand? Y'all could put this together. Y'all could put this together and put it on y'all blogs, put it on y'all pages, and everybody will know. See, I tried to paint the picture whereas that to let everybody know that you got this industry that's built a certain way and is ran on a certain machine that people of a whole nother culture than ours runs it. All right, y'all? People, oh, I'm too low. It's too low. Let me see what's going on. Hold on, excuse me. I got. I'm fighting off this cold. You know. Can you hear me now? Is it better? Is it still too low, y'all? Candy Chambers, can you hear me? Mikael West, I've seen that. 31414. I'm in the house too. I'm St. Louis in here. I'm in St. Louis right now. 314. What you talking about? It's better, Glenn? Yeah. Hate when that happens right there. I lose my train of thought. You know, when you get old, you start doing that. All right, check this out. A people of a whole nother culture, a whole nother race runs the whole industry. Yes, Kanye West was right. Now, check this out. Leor Carr got on Leor Colin, right? Cole. Leor Cole or Colin, whatever his name is. He got on Hot 97 and admitted he don't care about what kind of behavior, or he don't care about what these rappers do as long as they can bring a dollar bill to his doorstep. Cohen, right, Black China. Leo Cohen said he don't care what they do, what they present to our kids and families and everything like that. As long because he gotta feed his family. I gotta feed my family. I don't care what you Negroes see, hear, or displace. Anything. We got snow coming this way in St. Louis. I'm gonna be in the house anyway. So now, let's get down to what's going on and why Big had to die. Because that's why y'all came here for. Y'all want to know that. I want y'all to go when Big decided to get a record label along with Un. That was the first, that was the second of his, that was the second reason why he had to die. The first reason is that Big had decided that he had to double cross Puff. Big decided he had to double cross Puff. Puff used the same system that Sony, that Arista, that Capitol, that all the record labels had used on the black artists to rob and pilgrims their finances through the record label. He used the same system on his own artists. He signed Notorious Big now. He automatically took 50%. He automatically took 50% of the profit of their publishing, straight off the top. He automatically took 50% of the publishing. After 6 months into the game and Big stuff started blowing up after he did that record with Craig Mack, Marcus Majors, thank you, brother. I got a new member, Ultra Natural. Thank you. I can't sing the song right now for you, baby. You hear what Whiskey the Don said right there? I'm giving them the same deal the white men would have gave them. Puffy. That was the quote from Puffy. All right? Somebody know their history. Right. So Puff gave bigness. So now, after Craig Mack was blowing up and he was the hottest artist on Bad Boy, which agitated the Notorious Big, they came out with that remix. When they came out with that remix, big numbers started going up there. They started promoting. Because first thing they was doing a project called Big Mac. We was going all the way to the colleges and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? We have a box that looked like a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? And we have 2 CDs. We have CDs in there of Bad Boy artists. Right? So now, Big is blowing up. But what happens? Big ain't got no more dough. So he sells his publishing. He sells his publishing to, you know who? Diddy, well, Puffy. He sells his publishing to Puffy. So now, Big get that little 200,000 racks. He looking all right. His show money, he going doing shows and stuff like that. Putting on money with shows. So now Big got to have real management. Guess who he gets to have his managers? Mark Pitts, Puff, and Kirk Burrows and them protege. Went to school with Puff the whole 9 yards. He get Wayne Barrows. They become Big's manager. They the one who told Big, yeah, some of your publishing and everything like that. You know, you get the 200,000, you could always get your publishing back. You understand? Put that battery in their back, in Big's back. Big does that, sell him his publishing. Now, Big doing show money. He's Big Papa. Undias is telling Big about this whole persona. That wasn't Puff ideal, that Big Papa and everything like that. That was Un's ideal. Because he was the one who was shopping Little Kim. He was shopping Junior Mafia. Because I think this guy, don't get me wrong, don't quote me wrong, this guy from Stetsasonic, Daddy-O, was the one who was working with and probably developed the Junior Mafia himself. I don't know. I don't know that. Don't quote me, because I don't know that for sure. DJ TK, aka Brooklyn Finest, said, yes, I'm right. Okay, thank you, brother. I still have that Mecca 4 jersey. I still have everything. I have the Brooklyn Mitch clothes that Big have, and I still have the Coogee sweater. If I was this bum ass nigga that, like these people claim I am, I'd have been got it off for low money. All right, so now they developing this. They shopping this deal to all the labels. They go to Uptown Records first. Andre Harrell said, "Man, that shit and told straight out flat. That shit will never work." You know how I know? My partner, my man, Pots and Pans. Tim Dog, not Tim Dog the rapper. Tim Dog the architect. The architect of Uptown artists. Tim Dog the architect of the Lost Boys. He's been vice president and president of a lot of the labels. You understand? Behind the scene making the music. Along with one of the greatest minds in hip hop. Lucky Lefty, what's going on, man? Shout out to Fame Corona, Blue Gold. So now, check it out where we at. He's shopping his deal. He's trying to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? He goes to Clyde Davis. You understand? Clyde Davis and most of the rappers who get to all those things, you know, just like Violator, everybody, Chris Light and all something, they go through Jessica. Jessica gonna get her PC on everything. She make the introduction. They get you. They give you a contract. She get a little 20% finder's fee. She's still in the dark. She's so far in the dark, she's locked the door on those kids at City College, and 9 of them died. She never been in the light since then. I'm surprised. I don't understand why nobody never did no kind of YouTube special and blow her out the water, man. I don't understand. People be stealing from me all the time and taking my stuff and remixing it. Yo, so remix that. Jessica Rosenberg. look at what the history and what she did. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to tell y'all, she is the reason why hip hop has started being played below 110th Street in the clubs, because they wouldn't do it at first. She was the one who don't let people sit up there and talk about Chris Lighting running the tunnel. No, Jessica started that. She started doing the hip. She started getting the DJs, putting them under contracts, Funkmaster Flex and all them stuff like that. She did that. Chris Lighting ran the security. He ran the security at the tunnel. He got that deal because one of his family members was big in law enforcement. One of the reasons Jimmy Henchman, you understand, got put under the radar. That's a whole nother story. You're right, Sunday night. Cypher Sound as well. Under contract with Jessica. Black Channel know what they took. Black Channel got a lot of information, y'all. And if he got a YouTube show or something like that, y'all go support that dude, because when I'm telling stuff, he's on point and he's bringing people out. He's bringing people from under the woodwork. Miss Helena, it wasn't my scene too, but there was some bad honeys in that joint. So, and then some people wanted to go there, and I was protecting them, so I had to be there. You understand? So now, she putting people into play, getting her people getting into in the doors. You know, because they all gonna look out for their own. So now, on goes to Clyde Davis. Clyde Davis tell Clyde Davis tells Puff to sign. You hear me? Thanks for being a fan of the truth, Black Channel. Clyde Davis tell Puff to sign onto a deal. You understand? Puff would never sign because is his own man. Puff don't deal with people that he can't run. Puff don't deal with people that he can't control. You understand? Puff and was getting into it because is giving Big this whole persona of Big Papa. This whole persona. You see how Big came out first? You understand? He had the do-rag around her head. He was thug like Tupac and everything like that. He wasn't doing the Coogee sweaters and the suits and all that stuff like that. Gave Big that persona because that was basically a fly brother that dressed to the T, getting money. Gave Big that persona. Puff heated about that. Puff was having arguments talking about, yo, how you gonna tell my artist? How you gonna tell my artist? It was stuff like that was going on. So is developing a whole label. He's developing a whole label, and he using Clyde Davis money, Big Puff money. He using all that and that advertising and all that whole. He using all the stuff that Bad Boy is doing to make Big who he is, but in the he sneak fucking him. Sneak fucking. Y'all don't know what that is? How y'all don't know? Fellas, the ladies know what it is, so I know the fellas, because you always be trying to do it. So I know what the fellas know what it is. You know how she laying in the bed with you, and she really, she really not want to do it and everything like that, and you behind her, and you cuddling her, and you know like she like, no, I want to get some sleep. No, no, leave me alone. I'm trying to get some sleep, and you like, man, I'm gonna get real close to her. You start like you want to fake massage her and kiss on the back of the neck, and then you took that pinky finger and moved them panties to the side. Yeah, yeah, whiskey the dog, kiss on her neck, move them panties to the side. Yo, Rick, you get the idea right now. You know what sneak fucking is right now. And then all of a sudden you know, she talking about, stop. And you be like, and then you like, you keep rubbing her, kissing on her neck, and she be like, don't. And then you be like, got the panties to the side, and then you start rubbing on her, she be like, stop. And you be like, keep on doing it. She said, don't. And then next you know, she be, stop, don't, stop, don't, stop, don't, stop, don't, stop, don't, stop. Uh, oh, whoa. Jokes, y'all. Jokes. DJ TJ, aka Brooklyn Fighter. He said, "Don't stop, get it." So is all this shit. He telling Big, yo, every time you get on national platforms, when Lil Kim got signed and everything, and he give Puff a hit, Puff them get a hit, Big will turn around and give Junior Mafia and Lil Kim a hit. You get it? Big will turn around. Go look at the charts. Every time Big was in the top 10 or what, or top 20, to top, Junior Mafia and Lil Kim was right behind him. Have I said something wrong? Did anybody think I said something wrong already? Because we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this. And I'm going to leave this SHIT alone. SHIT, yeah. I'm going to leave it alone. And people have to go back and use this as a reference. Big Will said, nah, son. All right. So now, check this out. is is the one because he's a mastermind. Tim Dog said this himself. And please don't get the Tim Dog to F. Compton uh, involved and don't put him with the same Tim Dog of Butt Naked. Butt Naked production. That Tim Dog, that's the one I'm talking about. I got pictures that's gonna be in this next book of all that and everything. You understand what I'm saying? Him and Corey was masterminds in the industry. Corey is the real money man. He's the real money man and brains behind the bad boy scene. You understand? Corey Jones. I think it's Corey Jones. He's the real money man and the brains behind that. You know, Corey and them, they're the one got those nine. They got 9 life sentences. Nine life sentences. You understand? And they got pardoned, right? Yeah, Blue Gold is not the same Tim Dog. I want to get you. I want to get y'all straight on that. No, this Tim Dog was the mastermind behind the Lost Boys and Project. He was a record executive. So now, is feeding Big with the knowledge. Yo, we're gonna use Bad Boy. You understand? We're gonna use Bad Boy and Clyde Davis the money to blow up Little Kim, Junior Mafia, who was all at other record labels. They wasn't under the Bad Boy label. I think they was with Capital Atlantic or something like that. They wasn't with Bad Boy. Sean McBride, what up with you, boy? Oh, see, Atlantic. But see, you got to realize they was Capital and Atlantic. They had merged all those things together. First, it was like 12 big labels at one time. Then they molded that. They merged it. No, after that last album, we're gonna get there, Jocelyn. Please, please, man. Just give me a little where I'm at. Give me another 15, 20 minutes before you start asking the questions because I'm not gonna be able to answer you and I don't want you to get, upset. Atlantic is Atlantic, okay, Atlantic Capital, whatever is they was they was at a whole nother label. They wasn't with Arista and Bad Boy. But if y'all notice, take notes. Go back and look at all the interviews that Puff and Big was doing and see what Big was saying about how he, you know, was pushing his other artists, how he was pushing his label to be, how he was pushing his music to be. Look and see how Big was saying that in those interviews, and then look at Puff face. Your face will say a million things before your mouth even opens. And at that time, he wasn't smart enough. You understand? Not to wear all his feelings on his face. Y'all go look at the tapes yourself. So now, this whole Bad Boy and this whole Tupac, Death Row, all this feud and everything. First, they try to make it seem like that it was because Wolf killed Jake. That's the lie that Greg Canning, that's the lie that the media and everybody try to tell y'all. You understand? I was told, and I said this on my program a long time ago before anybody was talking about it. Wolf told me he did not kill Jake. Wolf told me we was in Daddy's house. Man, I shouldn't have not stopped. I shouldn't have never stopped fucking with Suge in the first place. You understand? And it was the night we was eating that motherfucking uh, Mr. Chow that had the roach in it. You understand? It was that night that Wolf told me that shit. He said, man, I should have never stopped fucking with that nigga Suge. Suge was alright with me, man. I should have never stopped fucking with him. All that shit talking about, Suge was this and that. No, I don't know where they get that shit from. I was up in Envy's and I saw it for myself. You understand? Suge partying with Zip and the rest of the crew, and Wolf was down at the other end of his bar with his crew. You understand? It was not a problem, not a scene, not a situation. At Envy's on Varick Street. The same night, Suge Knight hugged my kid's mother. So, all that shit that people try to portray and say this and say that, I don't know where they get that from. I'm telling you, eyewitness, eye account, what somebody told me personally. When Wolf told me that he didn't kill Jake, that was some bullshit in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He or somebody else, I think probably Riz or whatever, told me that Jason did it. Jason was known as one of them Valley kids and everything like that. He was from the Valley. You understand? Like Mark Curry told the story on another cat's platform. But I told the story first. Mark Curry added the Jamaican piece into it and everything like that. But I told the story first. And I was glad that somebody who was actually there, because I know Mark Curry and Wolf and them, they all used to do business, you understand? And Mark Curry told him himself. They used to do business. I don't know if it was his part of it was BMF, but I know Wolf part was with BMF because Wolf and Terry from BMF was like this. Do you hear me? Wolf and Terry was like this from BMF. That's Terry Southwest T. Salute for him to being home. So I knew Wolf and them wasn't getting their stuff from Meech and them. They was getting their stuff directly from Terry. Let me go on and stay on track. So now, Big is blowing up. Big has now finished. You understand? You know, we went on tour and everything. I was on that Jodeci tour. I was on that Flavor Unit, you know, tour, all that stuff like that. I'm Puff's man. Ain't nobody effing with Puff when he's with me. That's because at this time and moment, I left Same Game and I got the Slick in the Family the Slick in the Family stamp of approval, and I got the Black Hand stamp of approval. I'm running Black Hand security. Black Hand is so strong that it was Tupac, was it father them? They ran that shit in the prison. Chaz, that nobody really know, he got the name from Preacher. Better information that you regular bloggers, that you regular YouTubers don't know and didn't have any inkling that that's where it came from Preacher. Yeah. Matula and Chaz are cousins. Yes, they are. You know what I mean? Let me tell you what Matula did also help too. That you regular YouTubers don't have no idea. Black Entertainment Television sued Chaz for Black Hands. For having Black Hands TV or Black Hands Entertainment. BET sued Chaz for that name, for using Black Hands Entertainment. Chaz took the paperwork to Matula and other people that was in prison, and they wrote out the whole thing for him, and they said a person that represented himself has a fool for a lawyer. Chaz represented himself based on the information that the prison lawyers gave him. Those guys who do the paperwork in prison and everything like that. Chaz took it to the prison. They wrote out the whole doctrine and everything. Yeah, it has a fool for a client. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Anybody who represents themselves as a lawyer has a fool for a client. But Chaz wasn't no fool, and he took that paperwork to those guys in prison. They wrote out the whole doctrine and everything like that. He came back and he won against BET. He won the case against BET and flipped it, and they had to make a deal, in which they did. Which they did. Y'all don't know that. None of y'all YouTubers ever knew that, and that's big news. And go look and see in the thing, didn't they go to court on that? You understand? You BET was so embarrassed behind it. In order to agreement, they put a clause in there that Chaz wasn't supposed to reveal that to nobody. Yeah. Security! Just at the door. You would never ever know. So anyway, now, Big is cash flow broke. If he ain't doing no show, you understand? He ain't got it. He waiting on these other deals to go through. Pac and they whole situation, Big explained to me, he didn't know why Pac was bugging on him. You understand? And I felt that Pac was bugging on him because of when Pac got arrested, Jasmine Guy, Jada Pickett, and this other girl, she's a star. They was going around collecting money for Pac's defense. You heard me? They was going around collecting money for Pac's defense. Do y'all know the other girl? They was going around collecting money for Pac's defense. And Big ain't had no money to give him. Big ain't have a dime to give him. I've said this before. Nobody told Big to go do a show in your honor of your man Pac. As soon as Pac went to jail, Puff released, "Who shot you?" A record Big had done way before that time. Yeah, Jasmine Guy, Jada Pickett, and I don't know if it was his wife. It was Jasmine Guy, Jada Pickett, and it was another. It was another one of them light skinned, long haired chicks. So now, excuse me. Nah, it wasn't Sally Richardson. I don't think it was Sally Richardson. You understand? You might be right. That sounds familiar. Desiree. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Desiree Smith. I think it was her. That sounds familiar. Big ain't had no money to give up. Pac come out, you understand? The war's on, the whole 9 yards. I don't want to get through that because y'all know that whole story. I'm trying to give you some other stuff that was behind the scenes. You see? So now, got Big. Every time you get on national media, you talk about Junior Mafia. That's a whole nother label. You talk about Little Kim. You understand? Because is behind the scenes working a deal with Atlantic for $62 million. Who said Puff had something to do with Pac thing? He didn't have anything to do with Pac shooting at what you call. That was all Jimmy. Not, that was all people who say allegedly, allegedly, Jimmy trying to come home. You understand? Allegedly, that has something to do with that thing. I don't want to speak on that. It had nothing to do with Puff, or Puff knew about it because Puff was in the office. Him and Andre Harrell was up there in the office. I don't care what nobody say. They knew about it. You understand? I've heard a conversation, and I was right there on the conversation when Zip was talking about, and Zip and Jimmy Henchman was like this. So I heard the conversation. So they knew about it. So now, Un is working his magic. They get a contract for $62 million. $62 million. Old boy is heated. Clyde Davis is heated. Why don't you think that none of the other look at this, y'all. Why didn't none of the other deals that Bad Boy had, why did it come from, what's the dude name for Interscope? Somebody help me. What's the dude name from Interscope? Come on, man. Jimmy Iovine. Good looking. Who was that out there? Miss Helena, Miss A. Will. Y'all think y'all Cool Key, Miss Smith, Natural Immunity. Why do you think all the other deals that Puff ever had never came through Clyde Davis? It came through Jimmy Iovine. Because Clyde Davis was heated at him. Clyde Davis was furious at Puff. Lil Kim had went 5 times platinum. You know how much money that was back then? They were selling CDs at $20 or better a pop. $1 million, $20 million. $2 million, $40 million. $3 million, $60 million. $4 million, $80 million. That 5 million records sold, you know what I'm saying? She made $100 million for a whole nother label. That's a whole lot of cheddar. That's a whole lot of cheddar. For one artist. They got their money back. They would have got on that $62 million deal or something like that. They would have got their money back just on one Lil Kim album. So now, here we go. Pac and Big, you know what I'm saying? They had their thing. Pac dies and everything. Everybody we get blamed the Bad Boy, the whole 9 yards, Puffing them the whole 9 yards, stuff like that. Check this out. Big is leaving Bad Boy. Did you hear me? Big is getting ready for his departure for Bad Boy. But Clyde Davis don't know, and Puff ain't telling him. Do y'all understand me? Clyde Davis don't know, and Puff ain't telling him that Big is not signing a new deal with Bad Boy. Clyde Davis is spending all this money on the Notorious Big project and about to take him to London to make him an international star. But Puff ain't telling him that Big ain't coming back to the label. And he's holding Big publishing and his marketing over his head. Now, the same people, Mark Pittsnip, because Big told me in that Winnebago, yo, I'm trying to get my publishing back. I'm trying to get my marketing back. The people who was representing me didn't know what the fuck they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They was getting your publishing and everything up to Puff. They was giving your publishing and all that shit up to Puff, which they did. And then went back and told Big, now, yo, Big, you know you sold your publishing to Puff. But when you write your songs, change the name on the publisher. They playing both sides to the middle. They playing both sides to the middle. Do you hear me? They told Big to sell his publishing to Puff. Then when Big got on top of them niggas' head, nigga, y'all know the publishing is the he started learning the business. Smart kid. He started learning the business. He started learning how to read the contracts. He said, yo, they had me sell my publishing and my marketing to this dude. You understand what I'm saying? But then they came back and told him to put the publishing stuff in somebody else's name. When you write, say Tatiana wrote it. Say such and such wrote it. Lil C said that Big wrote his whole album along with some other artists. You know what they doing? They stirring up the evil pot. You're not going to beat them like that. You're not going to take their money like that. You're not going to take their money like that. You're not going to use them like that. You're not going to sit up there and cheat them out of their money. You're not going to use their tactics against them. Everybody who was doing business with Puff to make everybody who was doing business with Puff to make the Notorious what he was mad at Puff. Was mad at Puff. They were mad at Puff. Then Big did some asinine bullshit himself. When Big got on the radio and told Red Hook, oh, and you know them niggas at Red Hook, them niggas in Red Hook, yo, I want to describe they kind of crazy, but there's no way when Big got on that and well, I don't know if the kids was from Red Hook or not, but big shout out Red Hook. They said they over there shooting a video. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not gonna do nothing. Y'all not gonna what you call? Y'all gonna let them niggas do a video? You know about New York like that? Woo woo, all on the radio. And they shot up Snoop and them Winnebago that had some guys from I think that what was that what was old boy in them what was Snoop dog them people name? Dog Pound. They had hey Deacon's daughter, what up with you mama? They had the Dog Pound on there. And some of those Dog Pound members were Crips. These niggas just killing people over flags and colors. If you think in no way, form, or fashion, and somehow they was gonna try to retreat on Big them for doing that, they was gonna get at Big some kind of way. And Puff knew that. And Puff used that in the long run. And I'm gonna tell you how. So now, knowing that Big ain't coming back, knowing that Clyde Davis and them is putting all this money to blow Big up overseas, Puff ain't gonna let it happen. He ain't gonna let him go to London. Tupac is dead. He not gonna let Big go to London. To use that money to blow up his label that he just signed a $62 million deal over at Capitol, Atlantic. If he goes over there under the umbrella of Arista and blow up Junior Mafia, and he know he can't control Big now. He know that he cannot control Big now. Clyde Davidson put out all this money for Big to go to London, and if Big make it to London and he start talking about Junior Mafia, he start talking about Little Kim, he start talking about Cameron, he start talking about Charlie Baltimore, he start talking about the Commission, he start talking about all these other Tracy Lee, he start talking about all this other shit that he gonna do with another label. Mm. Mm. Are y'all getting where I'm coming from? He Puff got to make sure that he don't make it to London. He got to make sure that he ain't going to London. That's why he was on Kirk Burroughs' neck. He not going to London. I don't care what Arista say. I don't care what Clyde Davis say. Because he couldn't tell Clyde Davis he not re-signing. When he did that double CD, that stopped his responsibility with the label Bad Boy. When he stopped that CD, when he did that, that stopped the label Bad Boy. That stopped this what he owed Bad Boy. Just like I'm only speaking of what I heard with Pac. Like when Pac did his double CD, that stopped his stuff with Sugar or Death Row Records. Now, I'm just speaking of what I've heard on that, not what I know. You understand? I got 900 people, and probably 600 of them are haters in this chat. About 500 of them are haters. Can I get some of these likes up before I go into this next session? That I'm really gonna, really gonna put y'all into some some game. Whiskey the Don, what's up, boy? Whiskey the Don said Machiavelli was his last CD with them. I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna start this other part. Y'all cut this shit off. I don't care. The views could go all the way down and everything like that. I'm about to give y'all a whole another conversation that you understand. And I'm giving y'all stuff these cats out here can't give y'all because they wasn't there. You understand? They didn't hear it. They wasn't around it. They ain't see it. So I guess 4 or 5 haters. I had 900 some people in it. 4 haters went out, but the likes went up. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm doing a show right now. We gotta talk later. All right. All right. Peace. All right. So now check this out. I got 100 more likes on that. So check this shit out. Now this is when the jig start. This is when the jig start getting crazy. We about to go out to California, right? I call Wolf up because I meet up. I go down to Bad Boy, and I got the itinerary. The itinerary. It has me and Wolf plane ticket in it. We have to go out to California. It's the Soul Train Awards. I called Kirk Burroughs. I'm like, yo, we going out to Soul Train? What? Y'all crazy? What's going on? He said, yo, Gene, we need you and everything like that. They had got me a damn plane ticket before I even said yes. The Real Rap Show. Let's get it. What up with y'all? They had got me a damn plane ticket. They got Wolf a plane ticket. They just knew we was going to California. So I called Wolf up and I said, yo, Wolf, what's up with the Cali trip? What's up? He said, Gene, I ain't going. I said, dog, I got the itinerary, I got your plane ticket. He said, yo, my man, I told Puffer he ain't going out there right. I'm not going. I'm telling that nigga not to go. If he not going out there right, I'm not going. I said, what you mean right? What's up, man? He said, we just doing the Soul Train Award. We're going to do a little studio. And it's no partying or nothing like shit like that. He said, I told the nigga, let's take 2 tour buses. They manned them and woofed them. They own the tour buses. He said, give me the money to take two tour buses out there with all my Valley niggas. This is exactly what Wolf said. He said, let me take 2 tour buses out there with all my Valley niggas, A. Will. Consuelo, what up with you, ma? He said, Gene, I can't tell you how to make your money. You understand? But I'm not going. I was like, yeah, all right. So then I called Kirk Burroughs back. I'm like, yo, Kirk, Wolf said he ain't going. Kirk, could be convincing and all that shit with that bullshit. Yo, Gene, we need you, bro, man. We ain't going no. We only doing the Soul Train Awards, and uh, he ain't even say the Vibe Party. I don't think he said the Soul Train Awards and the studio and some radio. We not doing no parties, not none of that shit. Not none of that shit. Man, I think the first night I was out that motherfucker, me and Puff was up in the House and Blues with Keefy D, Chaz, all that. You hear what I'm saying? The first day I was out there, we was out there at the House of Blues with Keefy D and the rest of them dudes. That's the day that Puff was playing with Chaz and hit Chaz, and he must have hit Chaz hard because Chaz had caught him and knocked the wind out of him. I was dying. And so I guess some of the dudes didn't know who Chaz was. And they tried to raise up on Chaz, and I got in the middle of that. My man, what the fuck is y'all doing? Those was a couple of dudes. I guess they was with Keefy D or whatever. They didn't know who Chaz was. Man, what y'all doing? Nah, they peoples. He had no business hitting them first. Yo, I gotta take this, y'all. Sorry about that. They gonna be like, Gene was online using lean. Nah, man. You gotta get this shit when you feel like you're having a cold or flu. You better jump on it like a fat rat in a cheese factory. Go on, go to sleep. Do your thing. I'm sorry. Here we go. People don't talk about don't drink this. Man, I'm not letting this shit build up in my chest or nowhere else. It works for me. I'm sorry. I had a lot of friends that didn't make it from the natural medicine. All right. Thank you, La Bugala, La Boogaloo, or whatever, Bugala. So now, we up in the House of Blues. Boom. Like, yo, damn, man. Then we hanging around. He hooks up with Sally Richardson. You know what I'm saying? We going to the movies. We going places to eat and everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This nigga Kirk Burrow told me we ain't going nowhere. And Big is shooting a video. He's shooting a video at the same time. What was it? Hypnotized. Right? Now, all at the video set, we have these things called the militiamen. They bout it, they serious and everything like that. They doing their job. And they doing what they supposed to do. I say, shit. And it was only three or four of them. I'm like, yo, with these motherfuckers, I could take over a country. That's how on point they shit is. Them niggas had tanks, machine guns, all that shit like that. We could take over a country with those guys. We had them only because Arista was paying for the video. We had them only because Arista was paying for the video. Brian Lowe, thanks for that cash out, man, at Big Gene 52. All right. Markeith Bell, thanks for that cash out. Appreciate you. So now, we had them only at the video shoot because Arista was paying for the video shoot. I called Kirk Burrows out there, and I'm like, yo, Kirk, we need more security. It's just me with Puff, Kenny the driver. Kenny's from out there. Paul with Big and this Reggie Bullock cat, an Inglewood cop. Then you know Big got little C's around him and all that stuff like that. Yo, it's only four securities. One is a driver with Puff, that's Kenny, and me. This is where the jig gets up. Puff is telling Kirk Burrows every day he not going. Kirk Burrows is telling Puff he gotta go. Aristotle's paid this money. Puff is like, nah, he ain't going, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. Now, we at the video shoot. Puff and Sally Richardson, her stylist, and Big them all them get on a boat. And y'all see on that boat, on that hypnotized video, it said somewhere in the Florida Keys. Nah, we was in motherfucking Malibu, California. Why would they put somewhere in the Florida Keys? Why would they put on that thing? What's wrong with Malibu, California? Somewhere off the shore of California, Laguna Beach or this, that, and the third. Why would they put somewhere in the Florida Keys? Y'all think about that. Epic game. Yeah. We wasn't in California. We wasn't in Cali. Hmm. Yeah, Terrence. Drama Hawk Promotion. What up with you, Mo? Deacon's daughter. Q Rock is my family. I love you and I love my brother. Whatever what's happening right there, let him rock. Let Q rock. That's my brother for real. That's my brother for real. Deacon, I appreciate you, mama. You looking out for me. Deacon daughter be looking out. You better not breathe hard. You know what I'm saying? Don't you say this or you don't say that like that. Deacon daughter be on you like white on rice. So now we doing our last day. And this video shoot. And that's where you see the mermaids and all that shit at right there. You see the mermaids in the pool. That's the last day of the shoot and everything. I say, yo, Big, I need to, can I get in the video? He was like, yeah. This is the time me and him was in the Winnebago. This nigga told me his whole life story. He told me all the snakes in Junior Mafia that he thought of, that he knew and somebody had told him. He told me how one of the Junior Mafia guys was screwing Lil Kim. I'm just gonna keep this shit blunt. That was fucking Lil Kim, Money L. He told me how he gonna dismantle the whole Junior Mafia. All he was keeping was Lil Kim and Lil C's, and the rest of the dudes that he was going to keep in Junior Mafia, he was going to give them a shot, but they had to learn that this is a business now. He showed me his contract the whole 9 yards. I was asking him questions. We went back and forth the whole 9 yards, teasing, talking shit, all that. I heard his whole conversation with his mother. You understand? That's why I broke the ice with Ms. Wallace, telling her what I heard with her was talking, him and her was talking about the contractor, all this stuff. Me and Big was in that, we was in that damn Winnebago all day, just me and him. And I'm wondering, why the fuck fuck is Lil C's at? But he had put Lil C's on ice because Little C's had left a bag of pictures in the room that he had told him to take down to his room. And Charlie Baltimore went through those pictures and saw all those naked pictures of Big Papa getting his freak on, y'all. Because we was using Polaroids, y'all. We didn't have the camera phone, y'all. Papa was using, Big Papa and Lil Caesar was click, click. They were polarizing honeys. I remember Big told me, he like, yo, they was having sex with this girl before, and so then he let Lil C's hit, and Lil C's was hitting, the girl was going crazy, going, ha, 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 go, ha, ha, and Lil C's said, Ma, stop with all the bullshit. That's why we call him. Why do you think we call him Little C's? I was like, oh. He said the girl was going crazy. I was like, yo, what's wrong with you, man? Why do you think we call them Little C's? I was dying. But anyway, but Little C's was put on ice. That's why he wasn't around. And you look at that Hypnotized video, he ain't in that either. Go look at it. I'll be here waiting for you. He not in there. Big last video that he did, his little man is not there. All right. Prior to this Sunday of shooting this video, I had a discussion with D-Rock. My man, listen here. Don't bring Big around nowhere we at. Y'all don't come around nowhere we at, bro. It's going down. Now, if I tell your main man, you understand? I'm going against a nigga that's paying me. I'm going against a guy who's just paying me. I don't have no allegiance to Big. Look, come on, man. I'm keeping a buck with y'all. I get my money straight out of Puff's budget. I never made a dime off doing no kind of security for Big now. Not one dime. I know y'all love him and everything like that, you know, and I got respect for him in the whole 9 yards. But my allegiance wasn't to him, but my allegiance as a my allegiance as a man is to what's right. Yo, don't come around us, man. Don't be around us. Something just ain't right. You trying to keep this kid from going to London, and I understand why. Because he about to lead this joint and lead Bad Boy. But California ain't a good place for this kid to be at. Bigner was not coming to no parties where we was at, doing nothing, none of that. Yeah, Puff was same game. Yo, my grandmother, when she used to make a pot of greens or a pot of beans, you'll get this big thing that like a fat piece of meat, but it was for flavor. but you be so hungry you was happy to get it in your plate. And your grandma be like, "Don't eat that, baby. Baby, don't eat that. No." And you have it right there, and you be like, "You think you get a big piece of meat, no homo, and you go and chew it anyway, and all you get with a some fat back, some grease, and you like ah." She said, "So you don't believe fat meets greasy, do you?" Vincent Preston, you don't believe fat meets greasy, do you? See, the reason why you don't want to believe the truth, you think it's a perfect high. There's no such thing as a perfect high, but you want to believe it is. So now we sitting over in that joint. I'm telling this, yo, D Rock, hold this to yourself. Get my book, man. You know what I'm saying? Get the book. Now, let's get down to some other shit. Big decided to go to London. Big said, "I'm going to London." You know how I know Big said he was going to London? How do I know he said he was going to London, y'all? I'm trying to see if anybody know. Nah. The reason I know Big decided, you know when I learned Big decided to go to London? Last year. I learned that last year. I learned that from Clark Kent. I learned that from Clark Kent when he had told Big, and Clark came on the Math Hoffa show and said, "Yo, I spoke to Big. He asked me to go to London with him. And I had decided to go to London with Big." Do you hear me? That's when I first learned that he spoke to him. Chris Carter. Thanks, Chris Carter. Appreciate that, man, for the super chat. You understand what I'm saying? That's when I learned that he had decided to go to London. Do you hear me? So even that morning before he got killed, he was supposed to be on that flight. That morning, the morning of his death. But check this out. Y'all gonna hate what I'm about to say. Clark Kent said that Big told him that Puff and D Rock set that vibe party up for him to go there. It didn't come from my mouth, it came from his mouth. The world could see it on Math Hoffa. See, I could say people's name on my show, But when I'm doing other people's shows, they may not want me to say other people names, other show names. So now, y'all may not like what I'm about to say. And I told y'all, and people, please go back and do your research. There were 3 to 4 groups of people that wanted to kill people from Bad Boy that night, or that period out there in LA. From the people who've been watching me, can somebody tell me, please? Break it down. Bounty Hunter Bloods that was working security with Death Row. The Crips that wanted to get at Big, that part of the Crips that wanted to get at Big for having them shoot up that dog pound, that Winnebago. Members of Death Row because they fed into that whole Bad Boy Death Row beef. And the dude from the Nation of Islam that had a beef with Puff at Soul Train for whatever reason. I still couldn't tell you, but I know it was so heated. And the way Mustafa got involved in that shit, if I was that dude, I would have went at Mustafa or somebody who he was going and taking up for, and that was Puff. Crips got different fashion of it, Embry Spring. Because he cool with these Crips over here don't mean that you cool with those Crips over there. Come on, I want you to think. You got to think bigger than that. Yo, I don't know, bruh. But when I'm telling you, Mustafa is the captain at that time of the Nation of Islam. Islam is a Nation of Islam is a highly respected group and organization, which they only speak to you one time. Mustafa had to speak to this guy over 3 times. Over 3 times, my brother. Over 3 times Mustafa had to speak to this guy to tell him to lay off Puff and stop. Do you hear me? To the point where he had to get up and all of, oh, you see, shit, you see, motherfucker. It's like Mustafa is dangerous himself. But you seem like he pushed your panic button because you see Nation of Islam guys coming from everywhere. It was that. It was that. It was that serious, my brother. I gotta get one of these pills to knock me out. I'm not finished, but by the time it wear on me, Mucinex is the best thing on the market. It used to be that like that old Father's John that your grandmother used to give you. All right. So now, Puff get Big to California. Big is in California. Big ain't rolling with Puff nowhere. But after D Rock spends the day with Puff, with Sally Richardson and um, her stylist, he just forgot everything I told him. Come on, man. I don't know if they had the butt plugs. I, I wasn't there. I was with Big in the Winnebago. Nah, Poochie was nowhere near that shooting, man. Poochie and them people just came out and said that the night Big got killed, that he was nowhere near that damn shooting. And you heard Greg Caden ain't said nothing since then. Poochie people came out and said Poochie did not kill Big. He was nowhere near the shooting. But they got them on camera. The FBI said they got Amir Muhammad, David Mack, all them there at the scene, man. Don't ask me no stuff, man. So now, he got a whole new attitude. You hear what uh, Clark Kent said? Big said, not Lil C's, not nobody else. He said Big told him directly, Puff and D Rock got me going to this party. Set me up to go to this party. Set it up for me to go to this party. And he told Big, why? Gotta get this, y'all. That Mucinex. It works wonders. So now, it ain't over. Puff do not want to carry over the beef that Big has brought to Bad Boy. So he got Big out there asking him to come out every night. Every night. Every night me and Puff went somewhere, he has called Big to ask him to go. And Big never showed up. Big never showed up. And D Rock was on the same page as Big was. D Rock was on the same page as Big was. And he wouldn't. But after that one night with Sally Richardson, Puff, and the other girls, he changed his whole way of thinking. And Clark Kent said D Rock and Puff. So what happened? That D Rock changed his name, changed his whole ideal, and went against his man, and now he rocking with Puff till this day. He don't know that I knew guys that was locked up with him, and he said, "Man, I ain't worried about nothing. Puff gotta take care of me when I come home. I'm not worried about nothing." He told niggas that he was locked up with, "I ain't worried about nothing. Puff gotta take care of me when I come home." I know Big is a grown man, bruh. But if your man is like in your ear, yo, we gotta go to this. Let's just go to the party, man. This is our last party and everything like that. They could convince you, man. Big was in the. They was pushing Big around in a damn wheelchair. Do you hear what I'm saying? They was pushing Big around in a wheelchair, man. Do you know how long it took us to walk from? Because he wasn't having that look in there. He had. Do you know what kind of pain he was in even before he got shot? Because he had to walk all the way up, get up the escalator, then walk all the way to the back where the table was at. But that's not the situation. That's not it. Let's get greasy with it, man. We had all those people, Bloods, the Crips, the Dog Pound Crips, whatever, whoever they represented, Death Row, the dudes from Death Row, and that dudes from the Nation of Islam. Now, there was somebody sinister behind this whole shit. They wasn't coming after Big that night. They didn't want Big dead that night. The people that was set up didn't show up to kill Big, or if they did come, they didn't have the opportunity like they thought they might be. The people that came out there, they came to kill Puff. They came to kill Puff. That's what I believe. Because the Muslim guy wouldn't have never walked down to the car. Well, the reason he walked down to the car is when we was in the driveway, I hid behind the column. Puff car was right here in the driveway. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm behind this column. Puff car's in the driveway. Just say Puff is my gold ring sitting in the car. You can see that. But you can't see me hiding behind this column. I hid behind this column with my gun under my shirt at the time. I'm behind this column. Puff is my ring sitting in the car. When the Muslim guy came down, that's because he saw Puff right there in the car. That's the reason he got out the car, or he came from up the street, because he said, I can hit this motherfucker right now and keep it moving. You hear me? But I came from right behind the column, because when I looked down, I seen the motherfucker walking, so I went back. So I'm counting his steps in my mind, like. So I came out. When I came out, he stopped. This motherfucker just stopped completely. He stopped completely. He wasn't even trying to fake it. He just stopped. When he stopped, I looked at him, he looked at me. I lowered my weapon in my hand. I'm looking at him. He ain't say assalamu bacon, lakem, nothing. I'm looking at dude. He just turns around and walks back away. I see him till he gets right back. He just start walking. So now we pull the cars on the side of the cars that were parked right there. You get it? We pull the cars, all the cars are parked right there on the lawn. We pull beside those cars. Naughty Mac TV, what up with you, boy? Bruh, listen to me. It's very few people that was gonna come to a kamikaze killing. Going at Puff that night outside of that Peterson Museum, it would have been a kamikaze. That means I would have died, they would have died. It'd have been a whole shootout. Kenny was in the car with his gun. I had my guns on the outside of the car. It would have been a kamikaze. And 9 times out of 10, motherfuckers want a clean shooting and to get away. Now, this how I know, and I said this before, it was set up for Big. It wasn't set up for Big, it was set up for Puff. When we jetted across the street, we jetted across, Big them didn't come. Tone said, yo, Big them ain't crossed the street, y'all. We stopped across the light. If you know you got your red light, we on the other side of the red light on the other side of the street. We stopped. We stopped. Then the Tone said, yo, somebody pointing a gun at Big them. I go to open the door. We hear something say, pow! This nigga Kenny guns the car going forward, man. Pap, 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 pap. You heard? The hesitation. The hesitation. Because as soon as Big them stopped, that if it was for Big, they should have lit his ass up. The hesitation proved to me that, or I'm thinking during the hesitation that it really wasn't for Big. He was a casualty of not getting Puff. Cali Liz active. What up? What he do? What he do? Left. But it don't matter. You did what you did. Roll King. They took the easy shot. Will what it did was the parked car did move up. You understand? He came from out the parking spot. Like this is Bignum. He parked right there. Bignum was at the corner right here. He moved up so when he starts shooting, he could just jet around the corner. You get it? Lefty, I can't believe that about Kenny, but all those guys used to work for Death Row, man. Him, I just found out him and that dude Bullock, all of them, they work for Death Row. But I don't believe Kenny had nothing to do with it. He never seemed like that type of guy to me, man. But then it is. Tone, yo, ask about you how. What's up, Tone? Well, G Money, somebody asked me about G Money, the Big's driver. You understand? I don't understand how G Money didn't wreck the car or go into the car when that first shot happened on the side of him. And why did he put the car in park and jump out the car? Lil C's was lying when he said they all went in the back of the car. All them niggas ran down the street. When me and when I'm cussing and me and Tone is cussing at Kenny, telling him to turn the car around. What the fuck is you doing? You know, he told me we don't know who he's shooting at. And I say we just told you he was big. That yeah. Anyway, I believe Puff had Big out there to straighten the shit out with the Crips and the Dog Pound people to get at him. Somebody from Cali to get at Big. I don't believe that those people who can't kill Big that night wanted to kill Big. I believe they wanted to kill Puff. I believe the money that they were supposed to get, the money they were supposed to do was supposed to be for Puff. But they took Big as an alternative from not being able to get Puff. Because listen here, bro. If we would have stopped at that light, if we would have stopped at that light, it would have been Puff. It would have been Puff. Or he would have tried to get Puff. And the way Puff put my seat back in on there, he might have gotten Puff and me. I don't know. Who's it? He's been asking about plugs for now. Who's been asking about what plug? What are they talking about? R. Hill. Puff had a hand in getting Big out there to get Big done by some other cats. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not for sure, and I'm just saying, based on the action of the killer coming to Puff car first, I'm thinking that he wanted Puff, but because I had my gun out, he knew it would have been kamikaze. He don't know how good a shot I am. He don't know who I am. But he knew I was smart enough to be prepared. And anytime you understand a person is smart enough to be prepared, because failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. So he knew I was smart enough to be prepared to have my gun out, finger on finger side on the trigger, knowing if he come out with a gun, he can't get Puff. He got to get me first before he get Puff. I'm just saying that particular night, those people who wanted Big dead, I don't believe I seen them there. And if I did, they didn't approach Big. The people who wanted Puff dead approached him, but killed Big. Puff is responsible for having them out there and not having enough security. Nigga, we in the middle of county. You had four securities. Ariston was paying Paul and Baylock, Bullock Baylock. Me and Kenny was being paid off a Puff budget. Blue Gold. Puff wanted to happen. He can't make me believe that putting a kid in a situation, you know, he bringing the kid out that whole fucking thing. That come on, man, going to that party and all like that. He wanted Big to be taken care of from what Big was doing to him. Big stole thousands of dollars from hundreds of thousands of dollars from Puff by putting his publishing in other people's names. Puff going to get the percentage that he's supposed to get from Bad Boy Records, but what he paid for on the side with Big, he wasn't going to get that because Puff had put it in somebody else's name. I know the guy now to be Amir Muhammad. I didn't know his name then. I gave my gun to Paul, who ran the other way with it in his hand. I gave my gun to Paul. I gave one of my guns to Paul. I didn't know about the stickers on the car. So I didn't find that out till later, brother. I didn't know about the stickers on the car. I just found that out later. They put the stickers on. Somebody put the stickers on Big's car, and I don't know who did that. It had to be somebody from the what happened. It had to be somebody from what they call a street team because they deal with shit like that. But check this out. Y'all forgot. We were supposed to go to Steve Stout's house. And there was a bunch of Crips up there. There was a bunch of people up around there. And Chaz called me and told me, don't come up to Steve Stout's house. It would have been a bloodbath if we would have made it up to still going up those hills to Steve Stout's house. It would have been a bloodbath. Chaz called me and told me, don't, I'm coming down there. Don't come to Steve Stout's house. I think that the vibe party was only supposed to be like a, yeah, we went to the vibe party, then we went to Steve Stout's house. The killing was supposed to happen at Steve Stout's house. The killing of Big was supposed to be as we was going to Steve Stout's house. I think the killing of Notorious Big was supposed to be at Steve Stout's house. Right, Ralphie. Thank you, Ralphie. A buffer was at the party. That whole vibe shit was supposed to be a buffer, but somebody who had law enforcement influence, law enforcement friends, you understand, had to hit in the setup at the vibe party. No helicopters, no big police force. Police on the other side. How the fuck does shooter get away? That many shots. No police on the scene. We driving. No one chased us or nothing. They didn't. When Big got shot, me and Tone had jumped in the car and went after the driver. The shooter Big. When we got back, they was still there. It's with no police or nothing which came around. Tone said, "Come on, Gene." Me and him jumped in the car. We chased the guy. Unique was the guy who called me from prison. You understand? Somebody had big connections. No helicopters. You in Beverly? You close to Beverly Hills? Shots fired. No helicopters. No nothing. Yo, my man, that is show. That's great, man. Believe in Gene. Gene is everything. Biggie. That's deep. I don't know who invited. I think uh, the girl, Chris Lattimore. Chris Lattimore and Puff used to be partners and shit. So he got it through Chris Lattimore. Oh, what else I had to say to y'all that it was important? Oh my God. You got to get this one. I don't want to talk no more about the death part of it, but when I remember this, when I looked down the street, I seen the other side of the street was clear as day, and at the corner was a car parked there on the other side of the street. So if we'd have did a U-turn and went out the other way, that person would have did the hit. If we'd have came out the driveway and made a left turn, there was a car parked down at the other end. Anyway, we would have went. Oh, Unique called me from prison. That's the guy who had the kingpin status. And Chaz told me. I don't think the feds were there. I think it was NYPD. NYPD was following Big them because I think somebody was doing dealings with the Genovese mob. You know what I mean? So they was taking contracts that they were getting from the record label, putting it in the drug game, allegedly, through the mob. But listen here, y'all. They have those pictures. They know exactly what I'm talking about. You understand? They have those pictures. They have the notes and everything that they wrote and they talked about this stuff. You got Perez and the cops at the scene picking up bullets. Why are they picking up bullets at a crime scene? So I think the NYPD was there, and they was working in cahoots with, because the feds don't have that many people out there in LA to do stuff like that. That's why they use LAPD and they use uh, the sheriff's department. They only have a handful of people, so they use LAPD and the sheriff's department. But I know NYPD was following Big and them too. This task force. You know, you think it's federal, they all deputized as federal agents, but they not. They all deputized as federal agents, but they not. I know that for a fact. Because I had people in my office that worked for them and they was deputized parole officers as federal agents. Right. So Big had to die because if he didn't, that it would have tore Bad Boy completely up. If Big would have had his whole label and his whole contract and what the business that Puff did, it would have tore Bad Boy apart. Another somebody else would have had to finance Bad Boy because Clyde Davis was no longer going to finance them based on him not signing Lil Kim them and they go and get deals elsewhere. Yeah, his day one failed him. Scott Jones, he did call and warn me. Whoop, whoop up, 36. Somebody got to die. Big Smoke, what was that? If Big didn't die, Clyde would have ended Puff. Hassan, I got Big's clothing. I got Big's clothing line. I got 4 pieces from Big's clothing line. I got a red Biggie shirt. They got the Brooklyn Mint in it. I got the jersey that he wore with the Notorious on it. I got that. Uh, I got the Coogee sweater. That wasn't from his line, but that was a part of his thing. And it was two. One was light skinned. Two of them was light skinned, and it was a Jewel young lady. I don't know who else. I don't know them personally. I know they were smoking weed with them at first. He just told me to vest up. That's all Unique told me. He said vest up. Then I called Dawn back, and Dawn had told me what Unique had told her. Dawn Farrell. Yeah. And Pop put out that inspiration today, and Big put it, and Puff put it out as soon as Pac went to jail. Now he didn't want Big to compete with him, and then he mad at Big for taking his money, and then he also mad at Big for getting all those hits to those other people. Every time Puff put out a hit on Big, Big gave a hit to Un. Check it out for yourself. Shout out April Brown in DC, mama. Jazzy Lobby. Good night, Deacon Daughter. I'm about to go too, y'all. Hey, yo, thank y'all for y'all participation in this, man. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna try to fight this cold off and to do the best I can. Y'all do what y'all can do out there, man. Y'all celebrate Big's anniversary of his death the way y'all do, and know that there's some sinister shit behind this whole thing. And go check out what I said. Go put it with some other things and see, you know what I mean? See what you come up with. Salute. This has been Big Gene out here in the Lou. Yo, I've been trying to get with this cat uh, to do this this internet stuff with. I guess this podcast show. So while I'm out here, y'all hit me up, man, and we could talk and get this popping out here. A couple of these podcast shows is doing something. I think this dude Averb got one, and then uh, What Doe Radio. What Doe Radio supposed to be on March 9th, showing my documentary. They supposed to be showing my documentary, What Doe Radio, at the MX Theater. Now, nobody ever saw this documentary, and it's professionally done, the whole 9 yards. Shout out to Wisdom Clear. Shout out to Tim Dog. You're gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? I've had people like, yo, my man, that's crazy, and it's telling the story about the last big night. But anyway, I'm here. Y'all be good. Peace.